Hi everybody, this is Sister Omi, and I'm here to do the new moon in Cancer reading, and that's for Cancer Sun, Moon, Rising. Now the interesting thing about this new moon is a total solar eclipse. So get ready for a flood of emotions, like an emotional tsunami. Now the thing about the new moon, most new moons last about 4 weeks, but this one you're going to feel the effects for about 6 months. Now some surprises may come about, could be pleasant, but during an eclipse like this, it's like someone cut the lights off, feeling like you're in the dark, and you're going to have to rely on your other sight, like your intuition. And since you tend to rely on other things, you're being forced more or less to rely more or less on yourself. So this new moon on July 2nd is like saving grace. And this new moon in Cancer governs the way we nurture ourselves, how we approach our home, our family. This is almost like a cosmic message to take care of yourself. It's like a self-care wake-up call. And Cancer, this is in your first house. So your first house is the first impressions, yourself, your appearance. So, maybe your appearance will change. Like maybe you'll color your hair, or lose some weight or things like that. Now, this also is about fresh starts and beginnings, this first house effect. So what I see here, Cancer, I believe this is a phase that you are coming out of. Basically, maybe you've been ignoring certain things in your life, and now some of these things are bubbling up, and you've been having a lot of trouble on your mind. You've been feeling troubled, and it's been a little overwhelming. I don't even know if I would say you may have felt anxious or uncomfortable. It's almost like maybe even just overwhelmed, but this is all in your head. This is all, you must be tired, because you look at it, it's like worn out. The birds are pecking at the abdomen, the feet, the head, and this one is hovering over, like blocking any light to come through. Now, maybe you've been contemplating some things, but this is really calling for some inner focus. So if you're not quite through this right now, if you're not through this phase right at this particular time of listening to this reading, I would say that this is a time for some inner focus and contemplation and a rest. Maybe you have a lot going on, so maybe you just need to rest. That could be part of that self-care wake-up call for you. Now, if you're through that, and in doing so, the world is going to open up. There's going to be some sense of stability. There's going to be some changes. The world turns. And it's like you see the clouds, they're moving back the darkness. But it's like taking care of yourself, which is interesting, because this is first house energy. Like I said, your whole appearance may change. If you're walking around looking stressed out, in 6 months you may not even look like the same person, because there should be some relief. Also, with this world, maybe you're getting your confidence back. Maybe you've been feeling all this because, maybe some things haven't been working out. Your confidence has been low. But this is also here is a sign of a new beginning. But it's going to start with that self-care, taking care of yourself. And the message from Spirit here basically is, this is the four, it's not, it's the 9 of Cups. So emotionally, you've come more or less full circle. So emotionally, it's like, you getting yourself together here. And Cancer, you are water. So you're feeling a lot of things. And so I'm looking at this now. You're coming through this anxiety and need of rest. The world is opening up to you. And now you're feeling some emotional relief. So when that light goes off, it's like you ever play musical chairs and they move the chair and everyone's changed positions? That's how it's going to feel. All the seats on the boat have been moved. And you've gathered all your emotions here. And you're feeling a little safe and more secure. And interesting, the chakra card is the heart chakra. Now, the interesting thing about trickery is, or maybe you're feeling anxious because you've been manipulating people because of fear of rejection, or you feel manipulated. Are you the manipulator, Cancer? Because if that's the case, that's probably why you feel a lot of the ways. It's like survival instinct. And when that light goes off, and you have to feel your way through and use your own intuition, you're not going to be able to manipulate. So I encourage you to breathe deep. Do some breathing exercises. Spend time with your children. Eat a lot of green vegetables and herbs like basil, thyme, cilantro, green teas. This is going to help you open up your heart. This is about harmony, trust, loving. So prior to that, what was it like before the lights went out? It's like you're going to have to be able to give and receive. On the negative side, if you were a taker, that's not going to work anymore. It's like you're going to have to, opening up this heart chakra is like opening up to new ideas, new ways of growing, finding a certain balance. And so if you don't do, I would suggest you do some breathing exercises and maybe some cardio, to get your, get that blood pumping. And that will also help you release any of the anxiety or anything that you were feeling. Because like I said, all this is in your first house. So however you look to people right now, 6 months from now, they're going to say, oh my goodness, you're like a whole new person. And that's for everybody. No one's going to be the same in 6 months from now. Not with this eclipse. And being in Cancer, like I said, it's going to affect you emotionally. And you have all this air, stirs. It's like with this cups, could you imagine, you know how it is, right? The tide comes in, but what's stirring that tide? That moon does stir the tide, but also that wind, that air, gets that water. It's just stirring, stirring, stirring. As it's stirring, it's also pushing back the dark clouds. So you can start to feel more confident. You could start to feel more complete. And if you can start to open up your heart to new people, new ideas, a new sense of growth. And if you're doing some breathing exercises and some cardio, if you're feeling any, like if you have high blood pressure or anything like that, or it's like a release valve to help let go of all those things. And once the light goes out, if you're the trickster, you're not going to be able to be the trickster anymore. Now, if you're being tricked, that's not going to happen no more. Now, I pulled a crystal here, the lapis lazuli. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's beautiful. And this is about heavenly wisdom. This is attuning to your divine nature, enhances your well-being. So if there's any dis-ease, open your heart and your third eye. Enlightenment is within you. So isn't that interesting? It's saying open your heart and your third eye. And your third eye is how you see things. So, if you've been manipulating people to get what you want as far as survival, you're going to have to look at that a little differently. If you, like I said, have been tricked, maybe it's your perception. That all goes back to here. That mental, that air, that mind, how are you perceiving things? So that you can come full circle emotionally. The world is turning. Gain your confidence back. Even, I would suggest that you get a lapis lazuli, because this is to help you bring you back in balance and help you attune to heavenly wisdom that is within all of us. And maybe I would suggest, especially with that third eye and stuff, if you dream a lot, maybe do a dream journal. But Cancer, this eclipse, yes, you're going to be changing, but I see this is the change on an emotional level. You're to raise your esteem, and maybe certain defenses that you have used, and as I understand survival instincts, open your heart. You don't have. And if your heart is blocked, I understand sometimes it's through life experiences, but when you have a closed heart, it's also out of fear. So open up your heart, because the world is turning for you. All right, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, give me a thumbs up. This is Sister Omi. Peace.